One of the things that I learned about relationships, whether healthy or fail, you cannot let a relationship take you off track from your purpose.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I did. I allowed relationships, whether good or bad, to I focused more time on attempting to make sure that the relationship was good and happy, rather than focusing on making sure that my purpose was being generated and that I had a helpmate that was actually helping to fulfill that purpose. So that's one of the things that I learned when I look back on any of my relationships. So now that I know now is that if I have a relationship, I'm not judging it by beauty. I'm not judging it by not even chemistry as much. I'm judging it by, is this person aligned with me to help me to fulfill my God-given purpose? Because I believe that, granted, we support one another, but I believe that my mission is a mission that I have, and we're supposed to have a helpmate.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to support you. You're supposed to support me. But at the end of the day, if my purpose is being slipped under the ground and I'm not paying attention or I'm distracted, then that's a problem.
Hello, New Rich friends. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the New Rich Podcast, the number one podcast for entrepreneurs and creators, where we help you build 6- and 7-figure businesses, financial freedom, so you can live the life that you truly deserve. I'm your host, Dr. Oye Abraham. I'm here with my co-host,
Dr. Faith Abraham. Welcome back, New Rich Nation.
Awesome. We have a special guest for you today. But before we do that, so how was your week? What's new with you?
My week was fantastic, phenomenal. Our daughter did the Big South. Yeah, she did. They play so that they can get into go national or child, whatever. I was just being a supportive mom. So that's what occupied my week. How about you?
Yeah, my week was great. Our daughter, she's doing volleyball. She likes it. And,
And you're a little funny about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on blast. You're not really the sports advocate.
Sports costs a lot of money. There are a lot of things going on, hotels and this tournament and that tournament.
That's right.
I didn't know it was going to cost this much money, but I'm glad that she's doing it and she's excelling.
You are?
Yeah, I am.
We have this on tape. I'm going to make sure to show this to our daughter so that she can stay motivated. But she loves it, though, when you do attend and come out and support her.
Yes.
She's like, yes, Dad's coming. So girls love their daddy, so.
They do. And I'm learning to be better too, because growing up, I didn't have my dad with me. So I never knew what it is to have a father come to any game or anything like that. So I'm learning all of these things, but I'm doing the best I can to be a better. Thank you, love. Be a better father than my father was to me, right?
Are you an entrepreneur, coach, or creator ready to make 7 figures in your online business?
If that is you, then you need to register and come to the New Rich Mastermind. It's the first of its kind exclusive mastermind for very few entrepreneurs who want to scale and level up their online business this year. In this mastermind, we're going to help you with everything you need to scale and position yourself and your online business for 7 figures. We're going to help you and teach you, Dr. Faith and I, with other great speakers, on developing the millionaire mindset, your business funding, your digital marketing, hiring the right team, and everything else you need to scale your online business this year. And it just goes beyond the teachings alone, right? There's going to be a lot of fun activities, and also too, you're going to have opportunity to meet with other aspiring 7-figure entrepreneurs, build that relationship, and just by being in the right room.
That's right. So get your ticket now. Use the link below and register today.
And also too, the date is May 19 and 20 right here in the beautiful city of Atlanta. You can get your ticket to this space. It's extremely limited. Go right now to thenewrich.me, thenewrich.me, and we're going to see you in the room, because it's time for you to level up and scale your online business to 7 figures.
It's waiting for you.
We'll see you in the room. All right, so we have a special guest today. I've been looking forward to talking to this man for a while, and we're really excited and glad that he's able to be with us live in the studio. He's no other person than the Honorable Dr. Marvin Mitchell. What's going on, bro?
Good. How you doing?
Great. Good to have you. Welcome
Absolutely.
to the podcast.
I'm excited to be here.
Good. So we're just going to get into it because we have so much we want to kind of just pour from you today. So I want you to just share as much as you can, as freely as you can, so that everybody watching, they can really get a lot of good stuff that will help them, Right. But before we do, share a little bit more about your background. Where did you come from? How did you come to where you are today?
Yeah. So, basically, I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college. Father wasn't around in my life, so we grew up in the projects. Was homeless at one point in my life. So all of those things, statistically, from St. Louis, Missouri, number one crime city in the world.
Wow.
I don't know if you all knew that. No, St. Louis per capita. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So and I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood. So if you know from St. Louis, look at Walnut Park. So anyway, but going from there to graduating from college, then going to law school. Then when I got to law school, I didn't finish because my grandmother became sick. I decided to leave law school, help out my grandmother. And when that happened, she made me her durable power of attorney, which means I was now responsible for handling her money.
Okay.
She told her financial advisor she wanted to be safe. She was aggressive. She didn't know she was aggressive. She ended up losing half of her money when the stock market declined. She had no long-term care insurance, so she ended up spending down the rest on healthcare expenses, and she passed away, no money, feeling like a burden on Medicaid.
Wow.
And when that happened, it just kind of really pulled at my heart to do something different. And that's when I decided that I would be a generational curse breaker when it comes to finances in the family. So I decided not to go back to law school. I began to study everything that I could about financial literacy and retirement and making your money last. And then shortly after, I became a financial advisor at a big Wall Street company, Edward Jones. And I was at that company for about 5 or 6 years until one day a client came in. They told me they wanted to keep their money safe around my grandmother's age. So I kind of had flashbacks. And then I said, well, we got to put you in the market. Stay in there. You're in it for the long haul. There's only a paper loss. All the things you're supposed to say. And she looked at me in the eye and said, no, I don't think you understand. I can't afford to lose any of my money. So I made her money a lot safer. Got a call from the headquarters of Edward Jones. They didn't like the fact that I was making her safer. It was a big thing. So it caused a whole lot of unnecessary drama because I did that. And really, it was at that time that I realized the lady happened to be right, by the way, because the stock market crashed. Her money was protected. But it also made me realize that these big companies didn't care as much about the client as they cared about their bottom line.
Come on now.
And that's when I decided that I would start my own financial company. And I started Compass Retirement Solutions, which is my financial company. And I've had that company now. It's going on 15 years.
Wow.
No, not that long. I'm sorry. 13 years since I've had that company. Because I was at Edward Jones for 5 years and I've been here for 13 years. So 13 years is how long I've had the company. And over the last 13 years, it's been one of the fastest growing independent firms in the country. We're expanded in several different states. We got a full team of advisors. I was elected to the Financial Advisor Hall of Fame about a year or two ago. And in 2016 was ranked as one of the top 5 financial advisors in the country by Retirement Advisor magazine. And so that's kind of what I've done. Since then, I built a coaching program called Path to Prosperity. So now I still run my financial company, although I'm working on the business, not necessarily in the business as much. But my Path to Prosperity community is for younger entrepreneurs who are really looking to, and people who are looking to be entrepreneurs, who are looking to learn how to not make more money, create more money, manage that money, earn passive income in a safer way so that they don't have to go the traditional route with like 401ks and traditional savings that'll have you retired when you're 65. But now they can get to a point where they can actually live a freer life 20, 30 years earlier.
That's amazing.
So pain of losing your grandmother, that situation that surrounded her financially literally turned into purpose for you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, when that pain turned into purpose and then that purpose turned into pain.
Why did you say that? Why did you say that part of?
Well, the pain turned into purpose.
Right.
Where I said, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And then when I went to that purpose, it turned into pain because now I just left my job at Edward Jones.
Right.
I was involved in my church community pretty heavily, but they began to teach things that I felt that was not that I felt, it just wasn't scriptural. Okay. And it turned into like more so like a cult.
Okay.
So I decided to leave that church. Edward Jones attempted to come after me because I left because they wanted to make sure I wasn't using any of their materials. So, which I wasn't. So I was dealing with that, which means people at Edward Jones were afraid to talk to me. My church community shunned me because the pastor told them to shun me because it was that small knit cult. I had already moved my house to be closer to the church, so I had already, dedicated so much to the church that I had lost some of my previous friends before the church. So I was engaged to be married during this time, and she was a part of that community. So that caused a lot of friction within our relationship. So that engagement didn't last. So now I'm dealing with a situation where it was purpose that brought me to this, but now it's the pain that was making me realize that, making me wonder if I messed up. Should I have left?
Right.
It's too much pain. At least I got to have a 6-figure job when I was working at Edward Jones. At least I got to go to the grocery store and know I can eat. At least I wasn't stuck with like an $80 check for the month while I was trying to figure it out, dealing with the emotional pain. At least I didn't have to go out knocking on doors and getting doors slammed in my face. And then when I went home in tears because it was so hard, I still had to write those thank you cards while that was still going on. But it was the pain that led to the purpose. Then once I got into the purpose, I realized it was a lot of pain, but it was that pain that built my character enough that had to develop me in order to get to the purpose.
This is so dope. So that means your pain brings you to your purpose, and also can also bring you pain too. That also leads you to a higher purpose.
Yes.
Just like God just keep taking you from one level of glory to another.
And what one people don't want to realize is that people think that, well, I'm going to move, I'm going to switch over, I'm going to make something happen. And they're happy and they're all excited that this is going to happen. But then the test comes. But there's no testimony without a test. And you have to decrease before you can increase. And many people, they're not willing to go through the decrease. And too many people, they die in the valley when the peak was right around the corner. They get to the valley, which was the decrease, which is supposed to happen because you got to go through something to be able to handle.
Right.
That's why they say wealth inherited quickly will soon be diminished, because you got to build your way up and your character up to be able to handle it. Same thing in life. The next level, you got to deal with different devils. And you deal with those in order to get to the next level. But too many people, they get down there and they stay there because maybe they get discouraged. Maybe they say it was easier and they go back and they take the easier route. Maybe they feel like their friends and family don't support them, so they stay in that level instead of going to the next level.
I understand. So let me ask you, because I've been to your Path to Prosperity mastermind, and when you were using your house, it was big, but it was kind of relatively smaller compared to what it is right now, whereby, thousands of people come, so I want to just kind of see maybe there's some marketing lessons that the audience can learn from that. So how did you grow it from maybe like 70 to maybe 100 people to thousands of people? What are the steps you took to grow it? So somebody's out there trying to grow a coaching program or a mastermind, they can say, hey, I learned this from Dr. Marvin Mitchell today.
Let's see, going back, I didn't just, so what people saw was an acceleration that looked like it came from nowhere.
Right.
But what they didn't see is the years of toil building my business. Even though it was brick and mortar, I had no idea anything about social media, but I learned how to structure. I learned how to promote. I spent a lot of money investing in myself to figure out how to do it. So it's almost like that tip of the iceberg. There's a lot below the tip, but all you can see is the tip. So when people saw me, it's like, where's this guy coming from? Well, I've been working as an entrepreneur for all of these years and working on my mindset and reading books. It just had an opportunity to come to fruition. So when it came, I already believed first that I was great and that I can make great things happen and that I had people that I needed to serve. And this was my vision. So I went for that vision. I focused, but I already had the end in mind. You haven't even seen close to the end yet. It's still the progression steps of what that end is going to look like. But I believe. So even when I bought that house, I didn't even live in Atlanta. I still lived in St. Louis.
That's right.
So they say, why would you buy a $2 million house and you live in St. Louis? Because my vision wasn't initially really to live in that house. My vision was, so how can it help me to fulfill the mission to create a space where I could do the masterminds that would make it an exciting place for people to do masterminds. How could I rent it out when I'm not in there to make money? How can I turn it into an asset? How can I turn it into those things? So I looked at it as luxury arbitrage. How can I get luxury things that might attract people, but actually is making me money at the same time? So that's kind of like a marketing, because I'm really not a lifestyle marketing type of guy. Like,
really?
But yeah, cause you should.
No. That's hard to believe, because I'm thinking New Rich Nation. Y'all might know a little bit about Dr. Barber. Y'all know he drive
Lambos,
that slime green Lambo. You know,
there's a story. There's a story behind that.
$1 million house, but he said he's not a luxury.
I drove a Ford Taurus and Infiniti for a total of 10 or 11 years. And I lived in a 1,000 square foot house. Not to say there's right anything. I'm not trying to talk down on people who do want the luxury, but what I'm saying is, I was comfortable. I was okay. Like, I'm a minimalist. Like, I didn't need that. So, but my dream car was a Range Rover.
Okay.
So that was my dream car. It wasn't a Lamborghini. It wasn't a Rolls Royce. It was a Range Rover. And I remember when I wrote that down on my vision board. And I said, one day I'm going to get this Range Rover. I still have the vision board. I'll take a picture of it. And then, so one day I wasn't even making 160,000, but I decided that I would get this Range Rover. So I bought the Range Rover, and it took like 6 months, and that was cool because 6 months to make it. So I was like, that gives me 6 months to make some money, so I can pay for it, or else I'm going to lose my deposit.
Right.
Which I think my deposit was only like $5,000.
Okay.
So in that 6 months, I worked my tail off to make sure that I could pay for this Range Rover. But when I got the Range Rover, I loved it, but I said, I'm not going to really drive this. Okay. I said, I still kept my Infiniti at the time. I said, I'm going to keep this Infiniti because I don't want to put any miles. You know, we say, I don't want to put any miles on it. Let's just say I never got into that Infiniti again.
Wow.
The battery died on it 3 times before I finally decided to get rid of it, because every time I thought about, I said, let me go ahead and see if it even works still.
Right.
The car wouldn't start. The battery is dead. So got another battery, didn't drive it again. Because there's something about when I did get into it and I realized that I had the peanut butter interior, had the sunroof, automatic touch went all the way back, ice cooler, massage seats, all of that. When I began to drive in it, I began to feel more luxury. And I began to believe that I deserve it. And I also was able to realize that what was actually keeping me stuck and what was keeping me just over poor was the fact that I thought that it was a virtue to be so frugal. Right. But in reality, being so frugal, all it really did was it attracted lack to me. Let's think about it. If you constantly telling yourself, oh, I can't afford it, I'm going to be cheap.
This is good right here.
I'm going to save. I'm going to save. What is coming into what is it attracting? If the law of the universe works and we're attracting what we constantly put out, if we're constantly saying I can't afford it, or I'm going to spend less, or I'm going to save all my money, what is it attracting? It's attracting more. You got to save. It's not enough. You can't do this. Right. So I'm wondering, how am I living in this small house? I had a good job, but I'm still basically broke. So actually, when I got that Range Rover and I started thinking differently and started doing affirmations while I'm driving in that and feeling good about it and visiting nice houses just to see what they look like, that's the year that my income 10x'd. Wow. So that's one thing. My income 10x. I started to believe that I can do it. And I always, because of all of my practice of meeting with clients one-on-one, being a financial advisor, I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to close a deal. So I knew how to close my mentorship. So for that mastermind that you went to, nobody knew me in Atlanta. I had 1,500 followers. I didn't even use Instagram for any business. I had just found out that you can even do a high ticket. I didn't even know it was possible. At first I was like, who's charging people all of this money? It must be a scam. All of these things that were on my mind. But I joined the mentorships and masterminds, and I learned what people were doing, and people were charging like $1,000. So I said, well, I'm going to do one, but I'm going to charge $5,000. He was like, are you crazy? You're going to charge $5,000 per ticket? Charge $5,000 per ticket, and you saw it. It was packed. It was packed up in there.
It was packed.
So I did it again, and it was too packed to the point where people was hanging outside to do it. I don't know. Did you go to the second one? Maybe
No, I didn't.
Second one, it was like so packed that the whole outside was full, the inside was full. Wow. So if a real marketing thing that you want to do, and I know it sounds simple, but make sure that whatever you offering is good.
Okay.
Right.
Because who was doing that? Who was doing like intimate gatherings at their $1 million house with Lambos and Rolls Royce and all of that parked out, where all of the influencers coming in and just hanging out with you, networking? Like, it's one thing to go to a conference where you're seeing all of these, Dr. Markel Russell, like Keenan Papachulu, like all of these people coming to this event. Derek Harper, like, him 500, Neo, all these people stop by. And when they stopped by, we're just hanging out in a house, like a house party. But because you paid $6,000, $6,000 the next time, well, now you're in a room. You're in an equal playing field. Right. So people pay for status.
Yes. People
will pay to have exclusivity.
That's right.
Like, there are masterminds that's going on with similar information that people could have got for $500. So why are they paying $5,000, $6,000 to come to mine? Because they get access. They get exclusivity. They're not surrounded by $500 people. They're surrounded by $6,000 people.
And
so there's a difference.
The conversation is different.
The more money you charge, the better the type of networking that you get around. That's why, like, say this. That's why, like, when I go to a conference, I can get the same information for $297, but I'm gonna pay the $10,000 because I want to be in an exclusive area in the VIP. Why is that? Because if the audience is 1,000 people and I'm networking with 1,000 people, I only got so much time. Maybe I got time to meet 3 to 5 people. If it's 1,000 people, how do I know who's the 1,000 people, who's the 3 to 5 people that's worth talking to? I'm gonna spend most of my time talking to the 80% of people who are not the right people instead of 20% of the people that's right. But when I paid $10,000, every single person that's in that room.
Right. So automatically you've leveled up and you're able to be concise with the time, the networking that you're actually doing.
So now instead of 3 to 5 people, I could talk to 10 people and they're all qualified people. And one of those people was Doug. That I met being in a $10,000 room, and me and Doug, we went into business together a little bit on the insurance side. We made millions together. Paid $10,000 to meet one relationship, and every single time I went, I met those types of relationships. So, so that's the marketing thing. Be great at what you do. Make sure that you create a wow factor. That it's a word of mouth. I didn't go cheap on it. I had the ice sculpture. I had the tuxedo night. I had the violinists when they came in.
So, a lot of food.
Good food.
How can you make it an experience where people just have to talk about it? And it's going to market itself. And then you do the next one and they're going to have to talk about it. Pretty soon the buzz is going that they seeing it. Man, this is getting bigger and bigger. So as that's growing, now all of a sudden I can do a conference and bring in TD Jakes and partner with a couple of people, Ash Cash and Storm Leroy, and bring in Myron Golden, all different types of people that I was able to bring in because of the momentum that we had built.
I know you have a question, but I have 2 quick questions. Number one is, let's talk about the mindset a little bit, okay?
Because you did mention that.
Because it's not really easy to go from like, I don't know anything about mastermind. I could charge $200, but I want to charge $5,000. What gave you that audacity? What happened to you to make you believe that you would charge $5,000 and people will come? What happened? What was that shift from you? Growing up in St. Louis, there was not much. So you were not like, you didn't have this mindset growing up. So what was that shift? What was that?
Well, let's just say in life, you sell your life for a penny. Okay. You'll get a penny. You sell your life for a dime, you'll get a dime. You sell your life for 10,000, you'll get 10,000. And the biggest secret in life is people will pay you what you believe you're worth. Okay. It has no idea about the price. Like, if you believe, if I come to you and I say, Dr. Faith, Dr. Huey, my price is $500. And I'm like, stammering on that $500.
Right.
You're gonna be like, no, I want to pay him $500. I don't know if I want that. You know,
Right.
$500. Another person can come and say, my price is $50,000. And they're certain because they really believe that their price is $50,000 and that's what they deserve. You're going to be more prone to want to pay them $50,000 than you would want to pay that same person with almost the same information, $500. So life will always give you what you believe that you're worth. So one of the practicing things that I tell people to do is, so if that's true, then the thing to work on is your belief system in yourself.
How did you do
on
that?
what you worth?
That's what I'm asking.
So what I did was when I drove in that Range Rover, I did a recording on my phone. If my phone was right here, I'll let you listen. But I did a recording on that phone that said, I'm $1 million a month producer. I'm $1 million a month producer. At this time, I wasn't doing six figures, but I was saying I'm $1 million a month producer, $1 million a month producer. Before you know it, I listened to it every day. When I was driving, I recorded myself doing it. I said it out loud to myself. I did that 3 times a day. When I woke up, in the midday, and sometimes throughout the day, I would keep playing it over and over until I began to believe. It's kind of like exercise, right?
That's right.
Repetition on your exercises. Well, you need to exercise your mind. It's repetition on your mind. The more times you tell yourself something, the more your subconscious mind actually believes it true, because the subconscious mind don't know the difference between the truth and the lie. That's the reason why the Bible says, speak those things that are not as though they are. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. You have not because you ask not. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if you believe that, then it's going to come to pass and you're going to begin to attract those things. So I did that in every single day.
So
I did those same things. I was speaking it out loud, speaking it to myself.
And listening to it.
And listening to it.
Because
I was reading.
Very big on this stuff. Maybe
Yes.
because Dr. Marvin is saying it, now y'all gonna take me and hear what
Yeah.
I'm saying when I'm telling you these exercises to do. It's just like reps in the gym. If I keep building my muscle, I keep working there's no way my arm is gonna stay the same. You're gonna see the touch,
Absolutely.
you're gonna see the definition, you're gonna see the build, you're gonna see the muscular structure come out. Because I'm putting impact on my muscles. So when you're saying something over and over, you don't have to be there yet.
Yep.
And I think that's the part where people miss it. Like, oh, I have to be there already.
No.
Or I have to be driving the Range Rover. No, just start where you are, right where you
Yes.
are. And that is what will begin to shift, because repetition is the key to learning. Your reticular activating system is going to pick up on it. Like, you keep saying this, so it must be true. Let's now begin to see that thing through and follow through. So that's just the physical element of it. Spiritually, just like you said, faith without works is dead. That's the works. Saying it over and over again, playing it over and over again. And it starts to align and come together.
And you're very big too in listening to affirmation in your own voice.
In your voice.
Oh, in your voice. That's the secret.
Yes.
And I think it was David and Monetier who said this, and it was like mind blowing to me when he said, look up the definition of future. And I looked up the definition of future, and it said, I'm going to butcher this, but it basically said, you can look it up yourself, but it said something that is written or spoken in the present, awaiting this appropriate time. So it basically said, the definition of future is something that you speak or write in the present. That's actually the definition of the word future when you look it up in the dictionary. So I was like, when I said that, I was like, wow. So what it's saying is that we create our own future by what we speak or write currently in the present. We plant the seed. All we have to do is await our appropriate time. And one of the mind tricks that I used to do with myself is
Spill the beans, doctor.
I would say, well, you can only grow as high as your only.
As your what?
As your only. What you determine as your only. So I'll explain. So you can only grow as high as your only. If I believe that $1 million is a lot of money, I'm never going to see $1 million. And if I saw it, I'm going to lose it fast. But if I tell myself it's only $1 million, say, just do me a favor and say it's $1 billion. Just say it's $1 billion. I want you to say it's $1 billion.
It's $1 billion.
Now say it's only $1 billion.
It's only $1 billion.
don't they just feel different?
It does.
Just by adding the word only.
It's only.
When you keep saying it's only $1 million, it's only $1 million, it's only $1 million. Once you get the $1 million, you've already trained your mind to believe, oh, it was only $1 million. So the next million is going to be easy, and you're going to keep it because you expected it. If you're telling yourself, oh, I got to be a millionaire, but it's just all this toil and this strain and this struggle, it's going to be tough because you're framing it as tough. So you have to speak those things. So because your money can only grow as high as your mindset. So if my money is here and my mindset is here, then if my mindset is here, that means I got more room for my money to grow. And my money is going to keep growing. But if my mindset is here, even if my money gets here, let's say I get a big inheritance and my money gets here, my mindset is here, you're going to lose all that you had.
Right.
And the reason why you're going to lose it is because your mindset wasn't equipped to handle it. And that's why the Bible says wealth inherited quickly will soon be diminished. What does quickly mean? It doesn't mean you can't make money quickly. If your mindset is already here, you can make the money quickly. But the reason why is for a person who's never had the money, you got to leave time for your mindset to develop, or else you won't handle the money. Same thing is if your mindset is here and your money is here and then you lose all of the money, maybe you make a bad investment.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to make the money right back because your money has to align with your mindset.
Wow.
Absolutely. And that's what we see with people who win the lottery.
Yeah.
Within 3 to 5
professional
years.
football players. Yeah.
Man, athletes, that money is literally contingent upon where their mindset is. And John Maxwell used to say law of the lid. It's so your mindset is your lid. It's your cap. So wherever your cap is, that's as far as your money can go.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for your money to increase, immediately it's your mindset. You got to take the lid off or extend the lid higher than where it is right now so that your money has room to grow and to keep increasing. And I love that only too. That's good. It's only $1 billion.
Okay. So
It's
affirmation.
It's only.
It's only $1 billion. So that's
Y'all watching that? Write that in the comments. It's only $1 million.
The nearest nation, please write in the comment right now. It's only $1 billion. Okay. And this is about to even get even better. So let's go back to affirmation, right?
Yeah.
So you spoke about, because I really believe that, because people get on shows, sometimes they just give a lot of fluff and stuff, but we try to really drain everybody with as much knowledge as possible because we believe that freely, the more you give, the more it comes back to you, right? So somebody wrote something down, affirmation. So what's the next thing you did? Because personally too, and I've also told you too personally, that I'm really excited when I see you do big things and I'm just cheering for you,
Well, you just gotta know that even, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like even from the standpoint of the next action is to actually write this stuff down, put it into action. I got to say this one thing before you move on. Like to further prove this works. I wrote 2 checks to myself. One check was for $1 million, and that check was to myself. Another check was $10,000 to my mom. Now I didn't have the money at this particular time, but I set a goal. I said, if I reach this much in production by this date, I'm gonna write my mom. I'm gonna give my mom this $10,000 check. It was in my wallet. Of course, I didn't tell my mom I had it. I didn't tell, like, even for myself. I kept that a secret, but I put it into my wallet. I kid you not. First off, the $1 million did come to pass. I was able to have that as proof. I still got that old check. It's ripped up. I got it. But what made me even more proud, it was like July of, I forgot what year it was, July of a certain year that I wrote down I was going to give my mom this check if I hit this goal. In May, my mom calls me and she says, because she had a boutique business that she was just starting and she was building. And she said, I'm calling to get your advice. I was like, what are you getting my advice from? She said, I'm at the bank. I'm about to get this loan, but I don't know if I like the terms. I mean, I need your guidance as an advisor. And I said, how much did you get? Or it's a loan. She was like, I don't want to tell you because I'm ashamed. I was like, how much is the loan that you're getting, Mom? Like, how much money do you need to borrow? So finally she told me $10,000.
Wow.
I thought about it and I looked down at that. I remember I had that check. But the thing about it is it wasn't July yet. But I had just hit that goal that I said at the end of April. the goal that I said that I would give my mom this in July if I hit this goal. Well, I hit the goal, and now she called me in May. So I was able to give her that check. And when I gave her that check, she was like emotional, crying. Like, that's what it is. It's like I wrote that check. Like, God knew that my mom would need that at that particular time before I even do it. And I just wrote the check. So that's the power of writing something down. I wrote down 6-year goals, line by line by line, and I reviewed them every year. I look back on my 6-year goals when I hit it. I wrote it at 4:14. If you look at my Instagram, I did a reel about it. Every single thing that I said I wanted to achieve during that time was already achieved. Everything. Wow. So it was just like, it's just the power of writing. I can't express it enough. The power of writing something down, believing it. There's a book that if you don't want to read, I like Think and Grow Rich, but if you don't want to read a big Think and Grow Rich book, maybe you just want to read something simple. One of the easiest books that proves this point is it's called Instant Millionaire. Okay. By, I think his name is something Fisher. I can't think of the name, but look it up. Instant Millionaire. Last name is Fisher. And I'm telling you, that book was one of the books. That book and The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, part 1 and part 2. Those 3 small books are books that changed my life.
Wow. That's so amazing. Okay, I think there's something else too that probably looking from afar that I think maybe could also be instrumental to your rise. So maybe we can touch on this too. What about the importance of investing in coaching, in marketing, and also in being in certain rooms as well? Would you say those 3 things have also helped as well? And
absolutely. Like I believe that if you sow into good seed, it's always going to provide a 10x return.
Amen.
And notice I said good seed. There are some fake gurus out here, so I'm not saying don't do your due diligence. How do you know if you're investing in good seed? I always say that you will know them by their fruit. Don't look at the coach. Look at the coach. Look at the students and see, are the students thriving? Are the students prevailing? And also, don't just look at the coach. Look at their team. Because think about it, we can coach all we want to, but if we don't have any support system, if a person, like, I can't give you all of my time, but if I build an infrastructure and a team, my infrastructure and my team can give you that support. So look at the students and look at the support. So when you find that good seed, I believe that it's always going to 10x its return. So if I invest 10,000, I believe it's going to bring me back 100,000. If I invest 100,000 in mentorship and coaching, it's going to bring me back $1 million. If I invest 500,000, it's going to bring me back 5 million. You can say, well, that's crazy. So, okay, not only is it not crazy, I actually have receipts that is actually true. I've invested $10,000 in the program that I can prove that it got me over $100,000 in value. I invested $200,000 in a day and also $500,000 into a program. That's $700,000 I invested in a year. And I had a $7 million, not year, $7 million day. Wow. 2 months later. So it's like, and there's 2 reasons for that. Number one is actually taking the time to invest in the mentorship, right? Because you can't charge what you're not willing to pay.
Facts.
If you don't pay, you don't pay attention, but that's a big one. You can't expect a harvest if you won't release the seed.
That's right.
But the second thing is you have to believe that the seed that you're planting by faith is going to bring you 10x return. If you got to be a willing giver into the situation. If you're somebody who's like, here it go. Well, that's great, but you already think. Remember, as a man thinks, if you don't think it's gonna work, guess what? You're right.
Yep.
You're right. So you have to know, I'm planting the seed. I'm confident it's not going to work. Negative people are surrounding me, telling me this, but I won't listen to them because I believe that their vision is not the same vision that I have. So they can have their own negative thoughts, but my dreams are different. I believe it's going to work. And when you believe, you plant the seed, you water and you nurture the seed, it has to manifest.
Wow.
And the thing about it that I think is so funny, I'm just let you in on some of our conversation. I remember from that mastermind that we went to, because I joined him there and there was red carpet. Y'all, was a very cute event. Cute is an understatement, but it was a very nicely executed event. And then from there, I think you ended up doing something and I just saw it on Instagram. And I was like, I like Marvin. And he was like, why? And I was like, he likes to spend money.
Oh, that's what you thought.
I literally said this. Now, here's the thing. When I say spend, because a lot of our people, we are fashion in consumerism.
Right.
And we're not talking about consumerism. We're talking about investing. We're talking about executing the law of faith to produce something for not only ourselves, but that also blesses others. Like your mom is reaping the harvest from you doing the work on your own self. And then however many students that you have and that are still coming, they're reaping the harvest of the work that you've done. And I remember telling him, I said, I like him.
Oh, wow.
He likes to spend money. Yeah, of course. He likes to spend money, and he spends money in the way that I know. It's not my seed. I know it's going to produce for you because of how strategic you have been. I'm talking about that was the first time I didn't know who you were.
Right.
Until the day of that, am I lying? The day of that mastermind.
Did.
Yeah. Right. No. But from there to Pathway to Prosperity, to some of the challenges that you had been doing, just those different things, I was like, there's no way that anything can stop you. Not health, not any fluke, because the seed, investing that you have sown. This is just from what I can see. This is not even the stuff that you've done that you haven't posted about or talked about or anything.
Well, Dr.
You know what I mean?
It's also, you have people saying, well, that sounds great, but I don't have that much of a seed, or I don't. So sowing the seed doesn't necessarily always mean money.
That's right.
It can be money, but sowing the seed could be service.
Yeah.
That's right.
Remember when I didn't know anybody, said, well, how did you start to become known? I served my way to success. My mission was to make sure that other people were successful. Yes, I joined the masterminds, but I'm looking around. I'm like, I got my brick and mortar experience, but I don't know this digital marketing stuff or going live or any of that. So what did I do? I found something that I could do. I highlighted my differences and hid my similarities. Say, well, how am I different? Well, I know how to help somebody run a challenge, because I had met somebody that I mentored a while ago, turned into a really great guy in challenges, but I noticed that there was a need in the community. Yeah. So I started going to people with the belief. I said, I bet you I can help you make $1 million a day. People like, oh, ain't nobody taking me serious. Like, okay, yeah. I was like, no, I can help you. So the first person that I helped, literally, they said, yeah, whatever, like we can try. And it was very dismissive because they didn't really believe that I could do it. So, but I believe. Right. So I went hard at it and I was getting frustrated. I was like, I don't think you know what you got. Show up. Like, you're not even showing up on time. Like, so anyway, once they saw the first couple of days that passed by, they started to feel, oh my God, this is like, the next thing you know, I'm working behind the scenes, making sure they got all the technical stuff, making sure everything they got was in order. Then first person I helped did $1 million a day. Wow. You think now people in these circles are not like, you help him do what? Right. So then the next person I helped do $1 million a day. And then the next person, I helped like 3-4 people do $1 million a day. Now keep in mind, I had not done my own $1 million a day. I'm just helping other people do it. I'm getting paid for helping with the marketing, but I'm not getting paid. And then eventually, so I was getting paid off of something that didn't exist, right? I didn't have to spend any money. I just had to spend my time and spend my service. So then eventually, when I got really good at it, I was kind of like the, have you ever saw Unusual Suspects or The Usual Suspects? You ever saw that movie? There was a guy, and I've never seen, somebody told me this. I've never seen the movie. They said there was a guy that you would have never suspected was a mastermind behind everything. Yes. And then he ended up walking away at the end. Well, I was a mastermind behind a lot of this stuff, but I got no credit. And that was okay. But one day somebody came to me and said, you know what? You're helping all of these people do witness. Have you thought about doing your own? Why don't you do your own? And I was like, no, I didn't think about doing my own. So I started to do my own. And at first it was like 150,000, which was great. Then it was like 600,000. And then I became the record holder in our community by being a Roger Bannister of challenge, doing the most in a challenge than anybody in our community had done. And then I did it again. So it was like, so it didn't just pop up. It was like I was serving when nobody else saw me. Right. When I got no accolades. Right. When I got no credit. When nobody was saying, oh, great job, Marvin, I had to validate myself and know that what I was doing was building something. Too many people, they want to try to like say right away that, well, I can do this now. And that's great. But you got to be a good follower before you can be a good leader.
Correct.
You got to help somebody else and serve them before people will look up to you to say, how can, you got to prove yourself to a certain extent first. And then that exponential growth will be awesome. So,
wow. Okay, there's so many questions, but I'll probably have to do it part two because I know you press for time, So you also a public figure, right? So everything you do, your success, relationship, everything is public figure as well. And situation, your dating life has been public, a bunch of stuff has been shared here and there, So what would you like to say about that? Because, I know people have questions. You're like, why is he not talking? Why is he not saying nothing?
Yeah.
Is it guilty? Is it this or that, maybe it's your time to respond.
That's a great question. I cannot wait to answer this question. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you about how to become your own bank. How do you make money 2 to 3 times off the same dollar? I think that's critical, because one of the things that I learned about relationships, whether healthy or fail, you cannot let a relationship take you off track from your purpose.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I did. I allow relationships, whether good or bad, to I focus more time on attempting to make sure that the relationship was good and happy, rather than focusing on making sure that my purpose was being generated and that I had a helpmate that was actually helping to fulfill that purpose. So that's one of the things that I learned when I look back on any of my relationships. So now that I know now is that if I have a relationship, I'm not judging it by beauty. I'm not judging it by not even chemistry as much. I'm judging it by, is this person aligned with me to help me to fulfill my God-given purpose? Because I believe that, granted, we support one another, but I believe that my mission is a mission that I have, and we're supposed to have a helpmate.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to support you. You're supposed to support me. But at the end of the day, if my purpose is being slipped under the ground and I'm not paying attention or I'm distracted, then that's a problem. So when I said, let's talk about becoming your own bank, that was because that was basically me saying that my mission is to help thousands and thousands of families become financially free. It's to teach people that you can utilize life insurance for your life and not just for your death, that you could put yourself into a position where you can create a trust with life insurance and have generational wealth. If I'm spending all of my time self-pitying and saying, woe is me, the relationship didn't work out, I'm distracted from the purpose. So there's thousands of people that's not hearing my message because I'm distracted with something that I'm off message on. So 2 to 3 times off the same dollar, meaning that instead of letting your money just depreciate, we could put you into a position where that money keeps growing uninterrupted as if you never touched it. You can borrow against it, buy an asset. Now you're making money off the asset. You're making money off the policy. You can borrow from that and get another property. Now you got your money working for you 3 times. You can get a credit card and pay for an asset, pay off the credit card. Now you got points from the credit card. You got the insurance continuing to grow. You got everything from the real estate. You create a trust that's going to build you generational wealth. So with that type of message that's not being spoken, especially in my community, I can't afford to be distracted.
Wow, that's the okay. You're going to have the last question because of time. But let me ask you though, because we married and stuff, and we married now for
this year will make 19.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I realize it was that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been together for a while, and she's the best decision I ever made.
Okay.
Do you believe in love and marriage? And
I'll tell you, as far as relationships, this is crazy. I just read something the other day that says when God wants to bless you and He wants to bring you up to new heights, and He's ready to excel you, He will send you a person. When the enemy wants to steal, kill, and destroy and take away your vision and take away your purpose, he will send a person. They both sent the person. That's why you got to choose your relationships wisely. One of the reasons that you're excelling so well right now is that you chose wisely. There's been many a great men and great women, but many a great men, I can only speak for a man, many a great men who were set to go to new heights that were destroyed because of their choice in choosing the wrong person. So do I believe in love? Do I believe? Absolutely. Will I get married? Absolutely. One day I will get married.
How soon?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I don't want to. That's up to God for God. But like, you know,
you open.
Oh, absolutely. Like I believe. Like I don't believe just because a relationship didn't go. Sometimes things in life go wrong, so life can go right. Yeah. You know, sometimes we might think there's something for us, but God is saying that no, I got something better for you. I got something that beyond all that you can even ask or think. So who am I to say that God's vision for my life isn't right? I know it's right. And I believe that it's going to happen. And I believe that the divine timing will come. So absolutely. Yes, I do believe in it.
And I like one of the things that you said too, which is, because a lot of times in society, in life, we get caught up with certain things. And for everyone, it's different. It might be beauty, it might be chemistry, it might be this or that. But one of the things that I'm hearing you say is you're all about purpose. Right. And I don't know if you guys saw that movie, Why Did I Get Married? But in the first one of the guys, the tall, dark, bald head guy, basically left his wife for the side chick, and found out that he was so obsessed with the 20% his wife didn't have that he forgo all of the 80% that she was to now get with this other person who was 20%, and the girl had nothing to offer as compared to his wife. So eventually he came back. But one of the things, even when it comes to purpose, is having that person that 80%, because we can never have 100, right? Like that's just not real life, but we can have 80, and that 80 will be enough to elevate us and take us to the next level. So for you, someone who has achieved a lot, you have generated 7 figures, you're probably generating 8 now, it's already in the making, right? What do you feel like is that 80%?
Yeah.
Well, for a high level, I said that. I set you up on that one.
What is the 20% or what is the 80%?
No,
the
what's
80% in that person. So right now for this next, I think you kind of.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
what is the 80%? So
what's that thing now for that? Maybe somebody's praying and fasting, say, God, maybe this is my husband. So maybe they are qualified on
the first thing you have to do is realize what is your what is absolute deal breakers. Like what is an absolute deal breaker? And don't just say like the easy stuff. Like you think that those are deal breakers, but they may not be deal breakers because you can work through almost anything.
Yes.
But you can ask yourself, when you go through a problem, how do you two work through those problems? Is it with being dismissive? Is it with physical altercations? Is it with emotional abuse? Is it with gaslighting, lying, tactics? I mean, like, is it with withdrawals, like cold shoulders and all of these things that trigger you? And some of the things may not really even trigger you, but you know your triggers. Does this person know your triggers and uses your triggers against you to make you emotionally weak because they are attempted to get their way and just manipulate you? How do you fight? Do you fight fair? Because there will be conflicts. But when we have the conflicts, will it be a situation that, we might decide to split for a second to let's take some time out. But at the end of the day, are we going to come back together and are we going to work it out and realize that, hey, our purpose is greater than just this petty argument? Or are we going to let that argument escalate to something else and escalate to something else? And are you going to use that vulnerability against that person? So if I come to you and I'm telling you something vulnerable about my life, was it truly a vulnerable moment for you to listen to me in a vulnerable moment? Or is that going to be used in the next argument? Or is that going to be used if we broke up or split up to go around and try to defame my name to everybody because of a vulnerable moment that I told you? Is that trust there in relationship? And if you could say that, we fight. Sometimes this person gets on my nerves, but this person supports me. This person, I know she loves me. I know she respects me. I know that we're willing to work on ourselves and do self-development on ourselves. We're willing to do counseling if we need to. We're willing to, this person will go ends of the earth. And I know that this person is there for me. Like if I got a person like that, and this person, even if they can't communicate effectively at first, they're willing to grow so we can learn how to communicate effectively. And you know that the effort is there. And that they're not just trying to be selfish and be self-absorbed and only think about themselves, then in that case, you have to say, well, that's that 80%. That's that 80%. Yeah, you get on my nerves, but everything else is there.
Right.
And this, I don't just tolerate you, but I love and respect you. Then that's when you have to say, okay, that's the type of person I would marry.
Okay. All right. Woo!
That's good.
That was a lot. Okay. For the sake of time, because he has another meeting, hey, if you love this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dr. Marvin Mitchell says so much today, from mindset, how to do events, marketing, being your own bank, how
Luxury arbitrage.
Life insurance.
Go to wealthcreationcall.com, by the way. If you want to set up an appointment with my company to get your own, become your own bank.
We're coming to that. Hey, I'm Uyi Abraham, founder and CEO of Vonza.com.
And I'm Faith Abraham, co-founder of Vonza.com.
Yes, we created Vonza. I want to make it so easy, simple for online entrepreneurs, coaches, and creators to run their business online. Because we know how difficult it is to try to run a business online and have to deal with several tools and try to tie them all together, wasting time and money.
Absolutely. And so it just makes sense to have a platform that has everything you need to run your business online seamlessly in one place, like your website, your funnels, your online courses, membership community, scheduling, and a lot more things that are really going to help you be the best at what you do.
Vonza has made it easy for over 10,000 entrepreneurs to run their business online. So move away from the old and come into the new. Go right now to Vonza.com and get started to running your business online. Remember, Vonza is the best platform to run your business online. We'll see you right there. Vonza.com.
Vonza.com.
This episode is brought to you by Vonza.com, all-in-one platform for your courses, your memberships, your funnels. Pretty much gives you 12 tools in one. So move away from the old way of doing business online, which is tie multiple tools together, having multiple people run different things. Use one simple and powerful platform to run your entire business. So before we go, we're going to give Dr. Marvin Mitchell the last word to share. Anything you want to share as a last word, and plug in whatever you want to plug, because you've given so much powerful stuff today. So that's your camera. So give your last word and plug in whatever you want to plug in, and where people can find and connect with you.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I would tell you is to know your worth. There are people who know your worth more than you do. They just don't want you to know it. Because if you knew it, you had that power to know your own worth, then that person don't think it's insecure that you will still be in their life. So I tell you to do that. And also I say, look, we got to get our financial literacy and our mindset up. Like this is 2023 as we're recording this. We got to understand the importance of financial literacy. It's not just about making money. It's about keeping that money, controlling that money. So I'm a big believer in financial literacy. That's why I own a financial company. That's why I teach entrepreneurs how they can make and grow their money tax-free and put themselves into a position to earn residual income. So the first step is to get your foundation right. So I believe that life insurance is the key foundation that all of the middle class, rich and wealthy people do in order to get to the next level. And it's not just any life insurance. You got to properly structure it so you can use it for your life to actually make money, not just waiting until you die. So if you're ready to create your own bank and make your money continue to grow as if you never touched it, then visit wealthcreationcall.com, schedule a time with my team, talk to it's completely complimentary, wealthcreationcall.com. We want to make sure that we help you to achieve your goals.
That is amazing, guys. And we're also going to drop the link, wealthcreationcall.com, his links and social media channels and all his links in the comment section, and also on the show notes as well. Dr. Marvin, thank you for coming. That was amazing. What do you think about this episode?
Absolute fire.
That's it, New Rich Nation. We'll see you in the next episode.